Welcome to the Real Estate Show, brought to you by Capital One Group, LLC. Eric Willner, president of Capital One Group, LLC, is a highly trained financial professional. He helps clients to develop strategies for effectively utilizing real estate, mortgages, and related financial products to achieve a more secure financial future. For the real estate investor or the home buyer, he's able to provide expertise in matching the right properties and financing with your specific financial objectives. This show is dedicated to helping you find the safe and simple approach to buying income-producing real estate. If you have any questions about the program or to arrange a consultation, call toll-free 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. Now, today's edition of The Real Estate Show.
And hello, South Florida. Welcome to another live edition of The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program and America's longest running daily radio show all about real estate. On our program, we talk about everything real estate, from the properties, the ins and outs of the properties, how to find them, how to finance them, how to buy them, how to manage them. And that, of course, is because our main sponsor, Capital One Group, is your one-stop source for all of your property management and real estate support services. We invite you to give us a call, toll-free at 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. We here at Capital One Group have been here on the air now for almost, over 17 years now. We're being here talking about everything to do with real estate, whether it be the markets, the ups and downs, and through good times and bad. We've been here providing information, guidance, solutions, and management for the real estate investor. We got a great show for you today. I mean, we've had a really interesting week, starting and talking about the different processes, the different steps. We're all about steps, systems, and automating the whole process in order to really take that business to the next level. And so if you're out there and you're thinking, how do I get started in real estate? What do I do first? What infrastructure do I need to have? What don't I need to have until I get my first property? And those are the questions that we're going to be answering on our May 17th workshop. It'll be at 6 p.m. Here in Boca Raton. If you'd like to attend that, then give us a call at 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. And we'll be happy to put your name on the list. It is a space available only. We do these workshops not for mass audiences, but to really give really personalized attention to our listeners who are participating in those workshops. So mark your calendar if that's something interesting for you, and give us a call, and we'll be sure to put you down there. Now, when we started this program over 17 years ago, we wanted to be a place where real estate investors could come to learn, sort of get a daily dose of real estate. And over the years, it's evolved into many things, to the point where today we also have a Facebook page where we log in some of our past shows. You can see them both in audio form. You can see this as today we're filming in video form. And it's a great way for you to interact and experience more what it's like to be here with us on the station. And to the extent that we can, we want to bring as much information there as possible. So for that reason, go check it out on facebook.com/The Real Estate Show. And make sure you see the big red logo there, The Real Estate Show with Eric Willner. And give us your opinion. Let us know what you think. Show us your likes, and also stay tuned there, because now we'll be posting all the events, these workshops and seminars. We'll be putting those up there. It'll be sort of the center point of where you want to be if you want to be in the know. Now, today's program, I want to talk about the exit strategy. It's often said that you need to begin with the end in mind, and I happen to agree with that. What you want to do is you want to know, when you're going into a real estate deal, is this a property that I'm purchasing for resale? Am I going to fix it up and then resale it, or am I just going to resale it? Or is it a property that I'm going to hold on over a long period of time and collect the cash flow? One of my favorite things to do, and it's why we developed a portfolio. We developed a property management company to help other people who also wanted to have a portfolio I have an expression. There's a lot of people that want to be in real estate, but they don't want to do real estate, and they don't want to be answering the phone calls from the tenants yesterday afternoon. After 5 o'clock. Of course, that's when the tenants get home to discover that the air conditioning isn't quite working. We're obviously in a pretty warm part of the country during a pretty warm part of the year. And so that's a pretty uncomfortable situation. Who's going to deal with that? Well, we have systems in place so that without interrupting my schedule, I'm able to take care of that phone call. I'm able to take care of ordering the repairs, and everything goes nice and smooth without interrupting your life. And if you would like to be able to do that with your properties. In fact, one of the other things that we're coming up with a solution is a lot of landlords who do manage their own properties have one big problem. It's called vacation. And so what do you do when you go on vacation and then you're not able to, or you have to take those kind of phone calls and have to handle those while you're away. And sometimes while you're away, you're not, accessible by phone. Maybe you're out on a cruise. Maybe you're in another country. So we're now setting up a program for landlord vacations, and which is kind of a neat thing that we came up with. So whether you're buying it to sell, buying it to hold, buying it for cash flow, or buying it for future growth and appreciation, you got to know the end or the exit strategy going in. And so we want to talk about that, and that's what we're going to focus on today, because you have to know how you're getting out before you're getting in, even if getting out means 3, 5, 7, 10 years from now. So before you get in any deal, know what your exit strategy is. Depending on what the exit strategy is, you're going to determine what type of financing there is. Now, there's financing from every different type. Today, those types are much more limited than they were 10 years ago, which seems odd. You would think that as time goes on, we'd evolve and get better. But as we all know, that as the story went, we got very creative with the financing, and probably too creative with the approval process. Got down to the point where anybody who could fog a mirror could get a loan, and that probably wasn't right. And they had no income verification loans. They had no asset verification loans. And I think that we were probably just almost at the point we had no credit verification loans. But of course, everything went awry before that. But knowing the financing can range from 100% cash to 100% financing. In fact, as you all know, there was as much as 125% financing at one time, and that was always based on the expectation that the properties are always going to go up. Now, real estate in general, and this is generally speaking, and of course, twice in history there was an exception to that rule. It tends to go up and then plateau for a while, and then it tends to go up and then plateau for a while. And every once in a while, there's a little bit of a pullback, minor if any, but twice in history, you saw we had a major pullback, and if you didn't have the basic fundamental rules in place, then of course those are the people that suffered the most, the people that couldn't sustain what they had bought and couldn't support and pay for the payments, whether it be their personal residences or whether it be an investment property. So depending on what the exit strategy is, you're going to determine the type of financing you need. We'll talk about each one of those, and within this program, we've talked about different strategies for buying and owning, or buying and selling, and so we're going to focus a little bit on the buying and selling part of this for today, just so that the concept is fairly the same. The time frame is what's different, and in this case, we're talking about a time frame that's pretty short. Now, you also have to keep in mind that no two houses are the same, no two deals are the same, no two people are the same, whether it be no two sellers act the same, and in many cases, no two buyers work the same, which personally is what makes real estate so interesting for me, is because there's always something different. It's a very creative experience, and that way we can kind of have fun along the way, solving the problems, creating solutions, and in many cases becoming very creative. So I see that we're at the point where it's time to take a quick break. We're going to hear a few words from our sponsors. When we come back, we'll finish talking about financing your exit strategy, because really that's what it's all about, to wrap up the whole sales process. So don't go away. My name is Eric Willner. You're listening to The Real Estate Show. We got great information for you right when we come back.
Today's real estate market is full of questions. Eric Willner and Capital One Group LLC have the answers. Call today for a no-obligation consultation and get the facts. 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. You'll learn the safe and simple approach to buying income-producing real estate. And you'll find out how to get the right real estate investments for your specific investment objectives. Plus, you'll have immediate access to cutting-edge mortgage and financing products. Be sure to ask about free property management on select investment properties. Call today for your no-obligation consultation and get the facts. 888-595-7779. Toll free, 888-595-7779.
I said, damn, this traffic jam. Well, there you are, sitting in traffic like thousands of other motorists listening to Eric Willner's Real Estate Show. Here's a thought. If you're listening, so are potential customers and clients. Radio advertising works. So become an advertiser or sponsor guest on Eric's show. Get your message heard. Call 1-888-595-7779. That's 1-888-595-7779. Your customers and clients are waiting to hear from you. Said, damn, this traffic jam. Call 1-888-595-7779.
Hello, listeners. This is Eric Willner, your host of The Real Estate Show. Exciting news. We now have a Facebook page. Now, this is an opportunity for us to share with you photos and videos and interviews and lots more information on a regular basis on our Facebook page. But to make it really exciting, we want your input. We want your comments, and most of all, we want your likes. And that will make us a much better radio show, and our Facebook page will be a real resource for you. So check us out at facebook.com/The Real Estate Show. That's facebook.com/The Real Estate Show. And give us a thumbs up.
Are you paying for a home that is losing value every month? Do you owe $400,000 and your home is worth only $300,000 and still dropping? Do you want to know more about what the government is doing to help you? You have options. Don't just give up or walk away. Know your rights. Fight back. Fistel Law Firm can help you. Call for a free consultation today. 954-522-1212. 954-522-1212. Or on the web, fistel.com.
This is The Real Estate Show, brought to you by Capital One Group LLC in Boca Raton, with your host, Eric Willner. If you have any questions about the broadcast, call toll-free, 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. Now, back to today's show.
And we're back. For those of you who might just be joining us, we are listening to The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program all about real estate, and America's longest-running daily radio show about real estate. We're heard live Monday through Friday, each and every weekday morning from 8 until 8:30. We are heard on the local AM 740 listening area, as well as the 96.9 FM listening area. You can also hear us live streaming worldwide by tuning into either the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn Radio app, and now WSBR's very own app. So if you go on to whatever smartphone company that you have, they have the app. That's WSBR, as I like to say. W, S is in cell, B is in buy, R is in real estate, WSBR. And download the app, and all you have to do is click on the Listen Live button when it comes time for this radio program. The cool thing about the one app, the TuneIn app, is that it does have a timer reminder, so that if you want to set your watch so that every day at 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern you listen to The Real Estate Show, we'll be happy about that as well. And as I was saying in the beginning of the program, we had a great week. The last several days, we have set and broken down the step-by-step process to buying real estate into 5 steps. Number 1, and we spent an entire radio program. You can check it out on the Facebook page where we have our archived radio shows. is to locate the property. Finding the deals wherever they are, finding the right property, the right type of property, and the right situation, which leads to step two, which is to evaluate. Once you have found, and of course, when we talk about locating, we talk about creating a system and a flow of properties so that we can pick the best ones. And the process that we're talking about when it comes to buying investment property is no different than the process that we have in order to buy a personal residence. You got to find the property. You're going to look at different things: location, access to transportation, shopping, schools, and all those things. The old adage of location, location, location never went away when the economies change. And so finding the right property, having the criteria, setting up systems to find those properties is really important. Step number two is evaluate. Okay, now I've got several properties. Let's evaluate to pick the best one to go after, and we'll evaluate that process. Number two, and that depends on the criteria that you have. For a personal residence, it's one thing. For an investment property, it could be several things, because it depends on whether you're buying the property, holding it for cash flow, buying the property in order to resell it for a short-term profit, or whether you're buying it to fix it up and then have a medium-term profit, and sometimes a larger profit because you added value. So that's step two. And then number three, now that you found the property, you evaluated what you want, now you have determined what you think the value is, and you can make the offer and therefore try to purchase the property. Now, that involves a whole slew of things: contracts, what terms and so forth that are at your disposition, and what resources you have at your fingertips. And that is going to relate a lot more to the rest of our program, but making the right offer so that you get the property that you found and evaluated, decided you want, and now you have a good, fair offer, something that goes back to the old adage of win-win as well. And then we talked about, in the case of investment properties, the other side of the equation, which was finding the buyers. Okay, so now you found the property, you went through the whole process, you bought it, you locked it up at a great price. Now you want to make a profit, you need to find a buyer. So we spent time doing that. And by the way, in the course of the last several shows, we also did a self-evaluation. And I really appreciate those people who sent those evaluations in to me. It gave me some great insight on what we want to talk about in the coming weeks. It talked about what areas that you felt the most comfortable with. We talked about whether it was needing help in doing a better job to finding the leads, to converting those leads into what you want, contacting the seller, the comfort and what to say when speaking to sellers, the ability to negotiate. And by the way, a quick little plug: these are the things now that we're going to focus on our May the 17th workshop. It is going to be a free workshop, but it is going to be space available. So if you're interested in coming to that program, it's going to be an evening, probably about a 90-minute workshop to talk about some of the fundamentals and really set you on the path on what to do first and what to do next. And so that evaluation, I think, was really good. I think the feedback that we got, that people really liked going through the exercise themselves, and we certainly liked, because it gives us a good insight on what areas we need to cover more. And so getting back to the final step of the 5-step process, which of course is financing the exit strategy. And as I said, you got to know what your exit strategy is going in, so that when you finally get the property, and now you have to figure out how are you going to keep the property. And so since every deal is a little bit different, every strategy might be a little bit different. And so let's talk about a couple of different ways. See, there is the property that you buy to immediately resell. Let's talk about the short-term one first. And in the old days, as long as you lined up a buyer for the property that you found, in many cases you didn't need any of your own money. You could actually use the buyer's money at closing, do a simultaneous closing, or in some cases what people call a double closing. And you didn't have to bring any money. In fact, if you think about it, you didn't need any credit to find the property. You just locked it up under the right contract. And just as an aside, next week we're going to talk more about contracts in themselves. Then while you have the property under contract, you go out and find a buyer, and then you make sure that buyer is qualified to buy the property, and then you put those two closing dates to be on the same date. Everybody shows up at the closing table. You transfer the contract and everything to the closing agent. The closing agent collects the contract, the down payment, collects the contract and the down payment from the buyer. The keys cross the table, the money crosses the table, everybody gets what they came for, and then you get to keep the profit. And that was all fine and dandy until, of course, the laws changed. And then with the Frank Dodd rules that came out, now you no longer can use the buyer's funds to make your purchase. So you have to have those funds. And sometimes you only need those funds, as in that example, for a couple hours, maybe a day or two. And so what was born out of that change in the laws is something called transactional funding. And that means it's not a long-term loan. It's actually, a loan that probably can be measured more in hours than in years. So you have three types of loans nowadays. You have the transactional funding, which is just for short-term, exchange purposes. You have medium-term financing, which is maybe for months to maybe a year or so. And then you have long-term financing, which comes also in a lot of different flavors, whether it be hard money loans, which are private money that is based more on collateral and the equity on the property than on the borrower. Still, the borrower matters. Still, the affordability matters, but a lot less so than in the highly regulated markets of traditional home financing, which is your 30-year financing, whether it be fixed or adjustable. You have the conventional, you have FHA, VA, you have the prime, subprime, although they're not called that anymore. Those products exist out there in different forms. If you know what you need, again, know your end before you go in, and then you'll know where you need to look. So for the purpose of buying and selling property, knowing where to get that transactional funding, and yes, we know where to get that transactional funding. We have that transactional funding available to our own partners. So we make that process very simple. And one of the number one things that people are looking for is funding to buy the property. And I often hear people say that the reason that they don't get into real estate is because of money. And I guarantee you that it's not because of money, because there's more money out there available for real estate if you know where to look and if you have a good deal. If you don't have a good deal, there's no money. If you have a great deal, there's lots of money, and there might even be some competition for that deal. So that's what I kind of wanted to talk about in today's program, is the fact that we've got all these different types of financing, but you can't apply for any of them, or you can't seek out any of those. Some of those involve credit. By the way, transactional funding, nothing to do with credit, nothing to do with income, nothing to do with anything on you, the person. It has everything to do with the elements of the deal. And so if that's something that is a bridge that you're ready to cross, it's something you want to learn about, give us a call. The call is always free. You got a toll-free number, which I'll give you in just a second. You got a opportunity to speak to me at no cost. We'll spend a few minutes, 10, 15, 20 minutes to talk about that transaction to see whether it qualifies, and then we're happy to work together with you on those deals. Again, the toll-free number to reach us is 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. Be happy to talk to you, discuss this, to see whether it makes sense to take it to the next step, to get together, and maybe even to partner up on a deal or a transaction out there in the marketplace. So that's it for our time today. We hope you enjoyed the program. We hope that you learned a lot from the program. Remember, you can always check out the recap of this program on our Facebook at The Real Estate Show with Eric Willner on Facebook.com. That's The Real Estate Show with Eric Willner. And look for the big red logo, the radio microphone, to listen and watch this radio program right there on our Facebook page. You can also check it out at automaticlandlord.com. So for me, this is it. Until tomorrow, drive safe and make it a great day.
Thanks for listening to The Real Estate Show, brought to you by Capital One Group LLC in Boca Raton. Eric Willner and Capital One Group LLC are available to assist you with your financial needs. If you have any questions about today's program or to arrange a consultation, call toll-free at 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779. And join us every day at the same time right here on AM 740 WSBR, South Florida's Money Talk Radio.